Once they get to Yumbi camp, refugees from South Sudan can start to breathe normally again. They fled their country, forced in their haste to leave everything behind. As soon as they cross the border, the fear of falling into the clutches of armed men is at last over.
On the road to Uganda, we saw people getting slaughtered or held up. Anyone on a motorbike or in a car was robbed or killed by gangs.
All those who fled talk of the violence, rapes and abductions witnessed or experienced in their villages or on the way to Uganda.
My mother was taken and stabbed to death on the way to the farm. My father, he was shot in Juba. You don't hear the sound of gunfire here.
The civil war in South Sudan opposing government and opposition forces began more than 3 years ago. In the summer of 2016, 1 year after the signing of a peace agreement, fighting flared up yet again, forcing hundreds of thousands of people to flee. Around 250,000 refugees have been provided with shelter in Yumbe.
Toutes les organisations doivent un peu faire face à cet influx massif. Et donc pour cela, nous on a mis surtout en place dans un premier temps des actions d'approvisionnement en eau, latrines et services de santé basiques dans un premier temps, c'est-à-dire des cliniques mobiles, puis des cliniques qui sont devenues permanentes. Et nous mettons actuellement un système de surveillance de la santé de ces populations sur l'ensemble du camp. Histoire de faire face à de potentielles épidémies.
To prevent the outbreak of disease, MSF is working on improving water quality. Access to water and sanitation is still the biggest issue in the camp, which, 6 months after people started arriving, is taking on an air of permanence.
A country without civilians is not a country. We need a country whereby civilians are being protected, are being valued.
Uganda has mobilized its efforts to host the refugees decently, providing them with small plots of land and what's needed to put up a shelter and cook food. The huge influx of people in the space of just a few months, however, rapidly exceeded the country's capacity to respond. But as the situation in the camps becomes more stable, although unable to return home, the refugees have the possibility at least of being able to live in security. Paris at the beginning of January. It's raining and temperatures vary between 0 and 10 degrees. This 24-year-old man is from Pakistan, not far from the border with Afghanistan. He arrived in Paris 2 days ago.
I slept under the bridge there, where all people and some people sleep, and one night without blanket, something like that, and without food also. And it's raining, it's cold, it's not bearable.
At the end of December, MSF set up a drop-in centre where migrants can share their experiences, get help with coping with the cold temperatures and access medical care. Of the 70 to 80 people arriving in Paris every day, only 50 or so are given a place in the humanitarian centre set up by the authorities in the north of the city. Hundreds of people are sleeping rough, despite the authorities wanting to move them on and prevent them from settling in public spaces.
The police came this morning and took away all our belongings, including blankets and mattresses. They loaded them onto a truck and forced us to leave. The police are aggressive and sometimes they hit people, especially on the knees. They use tear gas too.
There are around 100 migrants and asylum seekers from East Africa sleeping in this street in the north of Paris. After each police operation, they come back. They really have no other choice.